What is up, guys? It is Monday, February 2nd, and I was able to get out this weekend and do some ice fishing on Lake St. Clair, and I'm just going to kind of run down everything that was going on out there. So I'm going to start out with where I was fishing. I was fishing in the bay between Crocker and Metro. So this report is going to be pretty much for that area of the lake. I didn't go up in Anchor Bay at all. I know they had truck races and snowmobile races or whatever they're racing. I don't know. It's not my thing. Up there in Fairhaven, so I know that place was pretty crowded. So I stayed away from there. I fished. I actually went out of Crocker myself. A lot of the guys were going out of Metro, fishing kind of the same area that I was. But it was just a little bit, I mapped it out and it was a little bit shorter of a walk from Crocker. So that's where I opted to go out of. And the ice conditions are really good out there right now, guys, for travel. We walked. The walk was just about a mile for me and didn't really have any problems. I pulled a two-man shanty and the whole way, and it wasn't that bad. A lot of machines out there. Everywhere I drilled, there was at least 10 to 12 inches of ice. Guys are driving quads, snowmobiles, everything. There's patches of snow out there, and then there's some glare ice. But really, the ice is in good shape. There was one big crack that ran from the corner of Beacons Cove over to the point at the 400 Club. And that crack was kind of pushed up. It was tight. There wasn't any water or anything where I crossed. Guys were crossing it with machines, no problem. But that's just one thing that you kind of got to keep an eye on out there, especially if we get some runoff or when we start to lose some ice. Like, that lake is 99% frozen right now, I would say. I know they're pushing some freighters through, so out by the shipping channel they're busting up some ice, but there's a lot of ice out there, guys, and it's in really good shape. Next thing I want to talk about is the fishing report. For me, the bite window was very small. So I went out, got set up in the dark. I think we started walking at about 5:45, 5:50. And by the time we were all set up, it was probably about 6:15, 6:20 by the time we were sitting down fishing in our holes. And our primary target was walleyes. And it just didn't happen for us. So a couple of my buddies were out about another half a mile to 3/4 of a mile further out than us, and they were able to capitalize on a couple walleyes. They caught their fish on a dew jigger, tipped with a minnow, and fish came right in off bottom. So one thing that I noticed, the water is very clear out there, and that just kind of, it's hard to get those fish to bite sometimes when it's really clear. And because of that clear water, the bite window was really short. Probably 15 to 20 minutes really of when they really bit good in the morning, and then in the evening it was probably another 20 to 30 minutes. So we fished until about 11 o'clock and then kind of walked back in. I needed to get some more minnows. I ran out of propane, so I grabbed a couple bottles and went back out. I left the dock at about 3 o'clock, and we fished until about 6:45, 7 o'clock. And it just, I don't think I ever marked a walleye. We did catch some perch. We caught some really nice perch, but not a ton of them. And in with those nice perch, there were some dinks in there too. I mean, I'm talking pinky-sized perch mixed in with 13 inchers. So we didn't set the world on fire. We did catch some fish. We were set up on a weed bed. I haven't had a lot of time to fish out there this year, so kind of staying on them has been really hard. Especially with this clear water, I feel like they move around a lot more, and especially with the machines out there, it pushes them around a lot too. I mean, we're only fishing 10, 11 foot of water, so when you're driving a machine across, you just keep that in mind. Like, those fish know those machines are coming, and just kind of be a nice guy too. Like, if you're driving a machine out there, don't be driving right next to somebody's shanty. Like, that's really rude. I mean, so unless you physically have to because of a crack or something like that, or they're on the road or something like that, that's fine. But like, if you're driving out there on the open lake and you have all the lake to go on, don't be driving right next to somebody. That's screw up the fishing for them. That's BS. So just kind of keep that in mind. There was a lot of guys out there this weekend, and I heard a lot of different reports. Guys are catching nothing, and guys are catching limits. There were some people that I've seen that had limit catches of perch this weekend. The walleyes kind of seemed like they fizzled out Saturday and Sunday. Friday morning was really good walleye bite, I guess, and it just kind of didn't materialize into the weekend. Guys are catching a couple here and there, but not really that great of action on the walleye. Like I said, we were targeting walleyes. I threw everything from dew jigger, buckshot spoon, jig and wrap, a moonshine, shiver minnow. I threw a Pin-Head Minnow down there for him. I did not leave any rocks unturned. I threw it all, and I never called one in. So just kind of how it goes out there sometimes. We did get some nice perch though, so that was kind of a nice little bonus there to reward us for walking 4 miles in one day. The lures that I did the best on with the perch, I just grabbed these right out of my bucket from last night. The best bait I had was this little Pin-Head Minnow, and the Wonder Bread was the best color for me. And I was taking the big, like, not the huge walleye shiners, but I was taking, they're bigger than perch minnows, I know that, and putting a pretty big head on that treble hook, and it seemed like I was able to get those bigger fish to bite. When I used the smaller perch size minnow heads, it seemed like the little fish were grabbing hold of it. So when I went up to a bigger head, it seemed like I caught bigger fish. I don't know if that was just coincidence or what, but there were some little fish mixed in with those big fish. And then what really saved me was the dead stick. And the way I've got mine rigged up, I've got a slip bobber, a bead on top and a bead on bottom just to keep it off my swivel, and that bead just to make sure that the bobber stop doesn't go, or the bobber doesn't go through the bobber stop. And then I've got a little barrel swivel and the split shot, and then I've got a number 10 Eagle Claw laser sharp treble hook, and that hook has just been awesome for me this year. I like a number 10 when I'm going after those walleyes out there. If I'm just fishing for crappies and perch, I'll go down to even a number 12 if I'm using smaller minnows. But I was trying to use those kind of in-between size minnows, especially after we caught some of those really nice perch. I wasn't putting a huge shiner on there, but I was using a little bit like the medium ones in my bucket. And then the way I've got my bobber set up is I've got it where those medium-sized shiners can just almost barely take that bobber under with the weight on there. So that weight will get them down to the bottom, and you got to make sure that you don't have too much weight on your bobber, because you don't want the minnow to take it under and you get false bites. And you got to make sure you have enough to where when those perch grab it and they pull it down, they're not going to feel resistance from that bobber. So kind of a fine line there. I've kind of tinkered with it throughout the years, and I've got mine kind of dialed in right now. If I lose this setup or something breaks off, I'm going to have to go through everything else again, because I've got it weighted perfectly right now, and I don't exactly remember what size bobber that is or what size split shot that is, but just kind of I messed around with it a little bit and got it dialed into exactly how I like it. I was using 6-pound monofilament on both rigs, and it seemed like when they were biting, they came right in, and you didn't really have to kind of work that hard at them. When they weren't biting, it was really obvious. I could shake it, jig it, rip it, just let it sit there, and it was really hard to get them to bite. But when the bite window was good with this Pin-Head, I was shaking the crap out of it. I wasn't really jigging it, ripping or anything. I was just shaking it right in place, and it seemed like those fish would just kind of come right up to it, and then I'd kill it, and boom, they ate it. But we were on like a grass bed, like I said, so I couldn't like drop it down to the bottom and stir the bottom up, because I'd just get fouled up with grass every time. So I was definitely having to keep my bait up and letting the fish come up to it. And yeah, so that kind of, I mean, that's about all I've got, guys. There's fish to be caught out there. Oh, I forgot, almost forgot. We had a huge full moon, so I'm sure that impacted the bite as well. I mean, the middle of the day, there wasn't much going on at all, and I'm sure that that full moon had a lot to do with that. Just kind of another thing that was working against us, I think. There's like no wind out there. It was an absolutely beautiful day to be out on the ice. No wind, sunny skies. That just didn't really, the fish didn't really cooperate that great. But like I said, I had 10 nice perch in my bucket. That's enough to feed me. I'm gonna have a lot of appetizers if I want to feed my whole family, but better than nothing. And hopefully we'll get back out there and chase after some of those giant walleyes. I don't really have any on the ice footage. The bite happened so fast in the morning before I got good camera light that it just didn't really turn out. And then in the evening, same thing. After I lost camera light, the bite turned on, and that's when I caught all my fish. So don't really have much out on the ice for you, but hopefully I'll have some more to report back soon. If you made it this far, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the support. If you need a quick tip or something, stop in a Sportsman's Direct. I'll be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from open until about 4 o'clock. So yeah, we've got minnows in there, got some baits. Stop in there, we'll get you squared away. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you watching.